It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. Welcome to the best show you'll ever know, the Dep Lewis Show, episode 95. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, September 22nd, 2024, a great day for a podcast about video games and more. So that's what I'm here to do this morning. Welcome to the show. Hope you're doing great out there in the world, whatever you're doing. If you're listening in real time on the release day or someday in the far-flung future, hope you're doing great out there. Hope you've been playing some games and just having a great time so far. And hopefully this podcast will bring you some enjoyment. So thank you for being here. The first order of business for today is to ask you to do something for me. Please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. If you'd like to support the show even further than just listening, there's a couple outlets. Patreon.com/DepLewisShow is available. If you'd like to subscribe monthly and get some additional benefits, and then also Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you'd like to support the show and support my journey to podcasting greatness here talking about the video game. So for today's show, we're going to have three sections as always. The first section will be what video games have been playing since I've last talked to you. The middle section or the mid section is all the hot video game gossip and rumors and news and releases and information that you need to know that's happened in the last week. So I would say that's definitely the most pertinent, important section of the show each week. You're going to get all the great video game news, and I'm going to break down what's going on, give you my opinion a little bit, and I think that really is the most valuable part of the show. And then the third section, the miscellaneous talk section, is where I can talk about anything outside of the video game world. So a little bit of a break from my video game thoughts and information, and then we can just kind of talk about anything I want to in the final section. It usually ends up being some sports, and today will be no exception to that because it is a double game day for my teams. We have the Carolina Panthers playing. Well, let's talk. Atlanta Braves are first today at 1 o'clock, and then the Carolina Panthers are playing in the afternoon against the Raiders. So we got the Braves versus the Fish, the Marlins, and then we have the Panthers versus the Raiders today. So one of my teams, the Braves, are in a playoff hunt, trying to get the third wild card spot, and the Carolina Panthers are starting their backup quarterback, benching their first overall draft pick after 18 games, and really, really shaking up the fan base. We're going to get into that a little more in the final section of the show because that is some pretty good stuff going on in the sports world. But for the video game world, I'm going to tell you about what I've been playing, and I think I'm playing the game of the year, and that is Astro. I have now completed the third galaxy. I am into the fourth galaxy, and I am at the point in 3D platformers. This will be my probably only complaint about the game, as I am at the point in the game where I cannot proceed unless I go back and get some more bots. So each level, kind of like in the Mario games, you want to collect stars or something like that. In this game, you're collecting bots across the map, and you have to have so many to proceed to the next level. So it is a lot like Mario Galaxy, where it'll have a number, and I think I'm at the one where I need 150. I think I have 143 or something like that. I've completed every level that has been given to me, so any level that's come across, I've completed it, but I just haven't got enough of the collectibles on each level to get what I need. So I just finally finished. So that's kind of where I'm at right now in the game. I went back and made sure I completed all the levels. I floated around each galaxy looking for stuff and making sure I tackled everything, and I did. And I found a few more things, a few more retro levels, and so now really the backtracking begins. So that's probably my one complaint with this game, but that is very similar in 3D platformers. It's a Galaxy thing. It's a Mario Odyssey thing. It's a Kirby. When that Kirby game from a couple years ago, same thing. And I will be able to move on at some point and still love the game because I really do want to see all the levels. That's one of the best parts about this game. Besides just the gameplay is seeing the levels and seeing what's going on with them. And I feel like I've been pretty exploratory with them, but I guess I've only been about halfway there. I'm only halfway there, like that song says. So I went into the Lost Galaxy, so that's something I did. And there was one level available there for me to do, and I completed that. So interesting stuff going on in the Lost Galaxy. And then I guess I need to complete the boss in the one level I'm at. It's like the lizard, the gecko-looking one, the bottom left. I need to complete that, and then I'll be able to open the top left, which is, I guess, the final galaxy, which is showing there. And then maybe I'll get some more stuff in the Lost Galaxy, but I'm excited to get the whole new world open up, see if there's any more I guess there's one more set of shape challenges, which those have been very fun. I had to do one of them. I guess it was the squares? I think I wrote the squares have been the hardest ones. Yeah, the squares have been the hardest ones so far, but ultimately very fun. There's one that I ran it a million times over multiple days, and then I completed it, and then I immediately went and ran it again because I was like, man, I really have this down, and I completed it again 2 in a row. So I feel like that's like a 3D platformer brag right there. But I was really feeling good, and I think that's pretty indicative on how much I'm enjoying the gameplay and how it's not so frustrating. Even on that level, there was 2 jumps where I was having some trouble with, and over and over and over. And I don't know if that was my fault or it's just a little bit of the difficulty spike, but there was really just like 2 spots that I had to get over. And I guess that they're probably just different ones for different people on these levels that are things you're finding difficult. But the square challenges have been the hardest ones for me, but I have completed them all, which I am proud of that. Yeah, I threw my hands up in the air after completing one. I wrote that down, and first time I've dipped out of a level and tried another one. So in that galaxy, yeah, with some of those square challenges, I had to give it up for a bit, move on, and come back to them. But it was worth going back to them, and those are extremely fun. I think that's been some of the most fun of the game because they're difficult, they're short, and they have a lot involved with them. So you can really get on a good groove or a good rhythm running through them, and you really know mostly all the jumps by the end of it, especially if you're having to do it a whole bunch of times. And then when you do finish it, it feels really good, and then you blast off, and just a really amazing game. I really do think this is going to be the game of the year so far. It's up there in contention with the next game I've been playing. But what else do I have to say about Astro? The Nathan Drake level was really fun. You get a gun, you're running and gunning, you're jumping and swinging, and I love some Uncharted. It's one of my favorite franchises ever. So that has probably been the most impactful character level that I've seen so far. And Astrobot's just amazing. It's fun. The controls are great. All the things you're doing around there are awesome. The music is cool. It's just so much fun. I really highly recommend the Astrobot. I think you should play it if you like platformers in any way, and go play some Astrobot, and you will not be disappointed. It's looking like the game of the year for the Dep Lewis Show. All right, the next game that I've been playing that is up there in contention for game of the year definitely is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Been playing more and more of this as the year goes on. As I've said, if you're playing Dep Lewis Show Bingo, I've completed Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I brag and talk about all the time since I never really finished too many games, and that's an RPG. So, just patting myself on the back left and right over here. But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I've been making some progress. I'm still in the grasslands area and calm, but I've really been doing as much as I can. I think I saw on the update tracker, I am 95% of the way through on chapter 2, and I'm about 9 or 10 hours of gameplay. So I guess I've been taking it slow for myself, at least, walking around the world, just kind of doing random things more than I ever have in one of these games. And I've been enjoying the open world and riding around on my chocobo. And earlier in the week, I wrote the open world stuff is reminding me of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And I wrote not too negative of a thought. And I wrote maybe the combat is the difference. So I really do enjoy the combat in this game. And I think it's maybe just a little bit of the full package. I wrote I definitely like the story and dialogue more in Final Fantasy. So I don't know why I was comparing those two games, but this game's got more into an open world setting. And I think sometimes with games nowadays, I don't love an open world setting all the way. I definitely think it's very cool and impressive, and I think it's more of like a personal preference thing at this point of which ones I do play. Like I do play Rockstar open worlds and a few others, and I don't know if it's something about the combat, if it's something about I think a little bit of the stuff with the open world games, it's a little bit there's not enough direction, especially in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. They give you a few, but I don't know. That's a topic I've talked about a lot on this show with my Zelda troubles. But in Final Fantasy VII, I've been enjoying it. So I've been roaming around the open world, doing as much as I can, just even walking around, just listening to a podcast or watching some sports on the side. So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's even been a little bit of a good podcast game. So I don't know what it's going to take to overtake Astro, but I think I can end up playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth longer, but I think it's going to be a pretty good fight, and I'm really enjoying this game. I'm all in on the Final Fantasy world, and this has been an excellent video game. So I think it really has improved a lot on Remake in some ways, but also I've been enjoying the open world stuff and kind of embracing that, but I do miss some of the run through story sections,
not missing like the tight corridors, but missing some of the more linear stuff. I do enjoy that, and I don't really find that too much of a negative from the first game. I really did love most of that stuff going on. So I hope it gets, hopefully that is interspersed. I guess that's maybe the right word. Hopefully that stuff is intertwined. Hopefully that stuff is in this game, which I guess it is because I've seen some of it already. But I think I've just been exploring this open world section for so long that it doesn't seem like that same type of game. So I think it's pretty cool. Hopefully it's going to be doing both of those things, and it seems like it is from everything I've heard about it. So those have been the two games I've been playing mainly, Astro and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I booted up some God of War 2018, just trying to play a throwback, have something on my console that I can boot up if I want to play something different. So I've been playing a little bit of that. I don't think I've played anything on my Switch. I'm getting ready for an upcoming release on the Switch, which we're going to talk about in the mid-section. Yeah, we'll talk about that in the mid-section, all the video game news. But that's been the main things I've been playing. I've really been playing my PlayStation. I've been doing some PlayStation remote play on my computer. That's been pretty nice. And Astro and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth are both excellent games and both in contention for Game of the Year for the Dep Lewis Show for 2024. I think those are number 1 and 2 right now. So we got to figure out which one's going to be which. We're going to find out if one wants to drop up or drop down and get its eagle on, or if something else wants to move in and take its place. So we will see. So what else do I have to say about my video gaming? It's been the year of the RPG on the Dep Lewis Show, just a year of having a increased focus on a genre, and it's been a really, really great thing. So I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think I've kind of given up on this for the time being since I have some other upcoming releases, but I was trying to complete Super Mario RPG Remake into Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, but those are going to probably just sit in the backlog for now. I may put that to rest, and I think the year of the RPG might just get closed out with trying to finish off Rebirth. I don't think I need to add anything else in the mix. That's the top one I want to be playing right now, and so I'm kind of setting that as the priority right now on this episode 95 of the Dep Lewis Show. So those are all my video game thoughts for the week. Hopefully that was short and sweet enough, and really some really great games. So we're going to take the first break of the show. You're going to hear some music, and we're going to come back for the midsection, which is all the video game news and information that you need to know, so you don't want to miss it. Get your mind, get your memory, get your ears, get your memory, get your wallet, because you might want to buy some of these games. And come back and listen to the midsection of Dep Lewis Show, episode 95, after this music. Welcome back to the midsection of Dep Lewis Show, episode 95. This is where I tell you about all the video game news and happenings that you need to know. And for today's section of this show, we have a Nintendo block. So we got a bunch of Nintendo news all blocked together. And then we're going to get into the PlayStation news. And then we're going to get into some miscellaneous things in this section even. So I got some pretty good organization going on because we have a lot of news going on this week. So let's get right into it. So we'll start with Nintendo. There's been some Nintendo Switch 2 rumors going on. And these rumors are getting really, really hot. And we have some alleged some images have leaked. So all of this is just speculation. None of this has been confirmed. And Nintendo's not going to come out and just... I think they're going to announce this on their own time, but I don't know if this ramps up the pressure on them or not. But everything in these images that have leaked, it looks very similar to the current Switch. One of the new there's a few new things. It's touting magnetic Joy-Cons, which we've heard about that for a bit. So, I don't know. I really can't say if I know if any of this is true. But a lot here sounds like it would be the case. This would be a pretty good, I don't know if it's a home run, but I think everyone would be excited about this as Switch owners. Current Switch owners looking to upgrade. It'll have a larger 8-inch screen. It's going to have USB-C ports on the top and bottom of the console. 12 gigabytes of RAM up from 4, and 256 gigabits of storage from 32. So it just looks like a beefier Switch, and that's kind of the thing everyone's been asking for. That's kind of the thing everyone's been hoping for. Some people are wondering if they possibly have 2 screens on this thing, or if they would abandon the Switch thing and go to just a handheld or just a something for your TV. But it seems like they're going to double down on the success of the Switch and really take this into the future. So I think it's really trending towards being called the Switch 2. And I think that's where I would put my gambling money if I had to. And I think that one of the other things I read was another rumor that this thing's going to be $399, so $400 US. And all of that sounds right to me. So I don't know if we're going to get the actual announcement. Nintendo has until the end of their fiscal year, which is, I think, after the first quarter of next year. And we will get the information. But we have this battle. We have the PlayStation 5 Pro coming. We could have some information from Nintendo coming about their console, so we can have some competition going, and we will see. But all these rumors are out there. Go check out the images. It just looks like a current Switch, a little bit sleeker, a little bit of a bigger screen, and then the magnetic Joy-Cons have the same form factor look as the current Joy-Cons, but these are magnetic and they just look a little bit sleeker and a little bit more beefier in the internal storage stuff. So still brings up all the questions of if it's going to be backwards compatible, it's going to be able to play games from Switch 1. Are some of the games that come out for our Switch 2 going to have just exclusive games? Are you going to be able to play them on your current Switch just with downgraded visuals? Like, what is going on here? And I think it is about time they need to answer some of these questions, especially with the PS5 Pro coming. I don't think it's going to be a huge success, and maybe not intended to be, but I think it puts a little pressure on the industry to put out something else and make a move. So Xbox is releasing some more SKUs of their current console, and Nintendo, these companies, I don't know if they're in a little bit of a wait and see what Nintendo's going to do, but they're definitely interested, and the world is interested, and I'm interested, and I will keep telling you about what's going on with the Nintendo Switch 2 rumors as I hear them. But as I gotta say, all that I just spoke on is just rumors, and none of it has been confirmed. So take that with a giant grain of salt. All right, what else in this Nintendo block of information? Nintendo sues Palworld. So a video game, Palworld. Nintendo and its partner, the Pokemon Company, have filed a legal case against the maker of Palworld over alleged patent infringement. So, Palworld is a game that came out earlier this year, which is crazy. I would have felt like that game came out a couple years ago, but maybe that just speaks on this year and what's going on. The developer of Palworld is Pocket Pair Inc. This game was first shown in 2021, and it came out January 2024. Palworld, everyone kind of calls it Pokemon with guns, and Pokemon said that Palworld infringes multiple patent rights. This lawsuit seeks an injunction against infringement and compensation for damages. So I don't know. My stupid, kind of dumb opinion was, yes, it is very similar to Pokemon. But what is going to happen here? I don't know. They're going to make them give them all the money. I think Pokemon has a lot of money already. I think it's a very profitable company, but I guess that's how you get there, is by being litigious, or I guess complete on the way you can get all your money back to you. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't think Palworld has been that much of a success. I guess there could maybe be a Palworld 2 or something, but I'm just kind of speaking on stuff I don't really play or know about. But Nintendo is suing Palworld. It's probably the right thing. I think if I created something and thought someone had copied it, I would want to sue them or do something too. So I can get that angle of it as well. But, I don't know. Nintendo sues Palworld. That is going on right now, and I'll keep you updated on any happenings in the legal world of the video games. All right, so what else is going on with the Nintendo? Splatoon 3 is a Nintendo Switch game, and there was a grand festival of Splatfest that just took place. Team Past was the winner, so they beat out Team Present and Team Future, so everyone wants to, live in the past and see what's going on in the past. They think it's all great back there. And after some Splatoon 3 announcements, they're going to tell us that after 2 incredible years of Splatoon 3, regular updates will come to a close. Don't worry. Splatoween, Frosty Fest, Spring Fest, and Summer Nights will continue with some returning themes. They will also have updates for weapon adjustments will be released as needed. Big Run, Extra Work, and monthly challenges will continue for the time being. So a little bit of a tip of the cap, a little bit of a retirement of super exciting things happening in Splatoon 3. You're still going to have the base game. You're still going to have some regular events. Maybe they'll balance some things here if needed, but it's basically just going to be more minimally supported. So that is the news here. Splatoon 3 has had a great 2-year run, and it's still a great game. I still think about playing it from time to time. It won Game of the Year on the Dep Lewis Show, and that's why I talk about it so much still, because it's still a fun game, and I wish everyone would play and enjoy it. And just wanted to mention that Team Pass won the Grand Festival, and Splatoon 3 moving into its twilight years. Maybe we're getting some new life on an upcoming Switch that has been rumored. So some more Nintendo thoughts. There's been a Nintendo Switch Online update. So if you're a current subscriber to that or would like to subscribe, there are 4 new SNES games available as of September 17th. So available right now if you're listening to this podcast. Those games are Battletoads Double Dragon, Big Run, Cosmo Gang The Puzzle, and Kunio-kun No Dodgeball, Deyo Zenin Shugo. So I definitely did not pronounce that name all the way correctly, but that's a very long video game name or title, but guess a lot of those are different. A lot of those are kind of games I've never played and never really even heard of some of them. But and then Battletoads and Double Dragon seems like that's two different games, but it's in one game. But hey, you got some new stuff on SNES Online, and I think there's a very good selection of games there if you subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online, and the base package is still $20 a month, which is a great thing, and it's nice not have to pay $60 or $70 for a year of some online service. And there are 4 new games available right now, so if you want to go check those out, if that's something from a nostalgia blast or something you want to try out, you can go try them right now on Nintendo Switch Online. All right, the last bit of Nintendo news or information I want to remind you of is an upcoming release. So just in 4 days, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is coming out for the Nintendo Switch. So that game releases on September 26, 2024 for $59.99, $60 US. I guess this could be I kind of have it in my mind as the last hurrah for the Nintendo Switch, this iteration of it. Like I talked about, I don't know if there's going to be any cross-platform stuff going on with the Switch 2, but this could be the last like giant, really huge IP release. There's going to, brand new game, biggest seller, kind of one of those games for the Nintendo Switch. So I hope it's going to be amazing. The people of Hyrule are being stolen away by strange rifts that have appeared throughout the kingdom, with a certain swordsman among the missing. It's up to Princess Zelda to save her kingdom in a brand new adventure in the Legend of Zelda series. So something I'm excited to play, something friend of the show Pab is excited to play. Maybe a couple other friends of the show are going to get into this too. It's going to be the buzz of the video game industry. Everyone's going to be talking about it and playing it. I think some people already are playing it. I don't think the review embargo's come up yet because I haven't heard too much on the internet about it. But I am excited. I can't believe the upcoming week has a Zelda game. As I said before, I've had a long storied past with Zelda. I've never completed one. I've played most of them. I really do love the games and like them. And I have kind of a challenge with myself. I want to complete one at some point. And, who knows? Maybe the one where I play as Zelda will be the one I complete. And I'm just going to try again this week when it comes out. So it actually comes out on Thursday. And so have a great weekend of Zelda playing coming up and hearing about it on some of the shows. I am excited to hear some of the thoughts. It definitely looks like Link's Awakening plus Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. So I think it's going to be a cool combo. I think it's going to be cool to play Zelda, and I'm excited for it. So that ends the Nintendo block of information here on the show today. So Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom comes out in the upcoming week, September 26, 2024. I think it's going to be awesome. And hey, I was talking about Game of the Year, so you never know. That one can sneak up in there for me if it is really fun and really good. And if I complete it, you never know. It might have to just be the default Game of the Year at that point, but we will see. All right, so let's get into the PlayStation side of things, the Sony side of things. What's going on with them? We talked about the PS5 Pro in the last week, so that's coming out. That thing comes out on November 7th. So we've got a leak. I guess this one's been sort of confirmed. This has been an ESRB leak. Confirms a PS5 port of this game. It's rated teen as it was previously, and that is Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster. So Guerrilla's open world adventure from 2017 is getting a remaster or a upgrade treatment. This seems like it may launch on PS5 and PC at the same time, according to rumors. It's touting quality of life improvements, updated lighting and animations, new graphics modes, and more accessibility features. If you don't know about this game, Horizon Zero Dawn, it is in an era where machines roam the land and mankind is no longer the dominant species. A young hunter named Aloy embarks on a journey to discover her destiny in a lush post-apocalyptic world where nature has reclaimed the ruins of a forgotten civilization. Pockets of humanity live on in primitive hunter-gatherer tribes. Their dominion over the new wilderness has been usurped by the machines, fearsome mechanical creatures of unknown origin. So this may be something people are speculating that gets announced alongside the release of the PS5 Pro. So I just mentioned that's November 7th for that release. And also Lego Horizon Adventures is announced, but to be decided. So this could be a hype builder for that. And the other thing to point out here is the complete version of this game. Right now, Horizon Zero Dawn, you can buy for $19.99 US on PlayStation 4. So I don't know if there's going to be an upgrade path through there, but I don't know if they'll continue to sell that version once the new version comes out. I'm interested to see what they're going to price this Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. My quick opinion on this remaster is it's unnecessary. I don't know if we need this at this point. I think maybe some of these things should just be natural upgrades through having a new console. It should just naturally get a little bit of a beefier thing, would be my opinion and hope. But these companies are out to make money, and that's what they're doing with some of this stuff for sure. And you can just choose not to play it, or you can choose to play the PlayStation 4 version. I think if you look on some like physical copies are maybe $9 to $20 for the base version of the PS4 version of Horizon Zero Dawn up to the complete version. Some outlets are still selling the I don't know. I think that's Forbidden West is being sold. So you definitely can get this game for Horizon Zero Dawn pretty inexpensive right now. So I don't know if it's a good moment to buy that if you really are interested and don't care about the upgraded remaster. It might be a way to get a cheaper upgrade, or it might be a way to actually even access this version for the less expensive price. Maybe the new SKU will take over somehow. So I don't know how they're going to handle that. It gets a little muddy these days with some of these games being remastered so quickly. Of how they handle this in the storefronts and all the blurry lines between different console generations and things like that. But maybe this is something that they're wanting to show off for the PS5 Pro, and you just wish they would have a new game to show off instead of selling you something that I would think is probably perfectly fine. Horizon's a series that I probably do need to get into at some point, with realizing how much I do love some of these PlayStation franchises. That and God of War is those are pretty much the only two missing ones of like current gens of like the big games that I haven't completed or really given a great shot. And I own both of those games, and I own the sequels, so something I should maybe give some more thought to, and I think I will as time goes on. But more Sony news. So really rumored, I think it's pretty much been confirmed that Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. There's another remaster coming apparently for Days Gone. Rumors about this after the Horizon Zero Dawn leaks came out. I think rumors from Jeff Grubb from Giant Bomb. So pretty cool. Jeff Grubb's always dropping some good news, so he's been pretty great for that. Days Gone is the game from 2019, developer Bend Studio. Just like the case with the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster, this game's not too old. The PS4 game right now you can buy for $39.99 US, so you can play this right now if you'd like to, and you can brave the unpredictable challenges of a post-apocalyptic open world set in the Pacific Northwest. Any mistake could be your last in your attempt to carve out a new life, a massive open world action adventure. So I kind of remember when this game comes out, not something I tried, but it seemed cool, but I think it was a little bit more panned than critically acclaimed. So I don't know. I think maybe it had more of a cult following. So I don't know. You just kind of wish maybe they would, with some of these games being so recent, just upgrade them, give it to us for free. But they're doing some work there, that's just kind of their new business model. And, mine's more of a hope, and this is their business model and what they're going with. So, all you can do is react with where you spend your money. I think that's the only thing you can do. And that is the bit of, a bit of control we have in this situation. So that is what I got to say about that. So Days Gone has a Legend remaster as well. So with all this Sony talk, it seems like we're going to get a state of play. So it's rumored really heavily for the upcoming week, September 24th. So that would be Tuesday in the upcoming week. So I might be reporting back to you next week on next week's show about what's going on with the Sony state of play. Pre-orders for the PS5 Pro begin September 26th. So it does make sense they want to talk about it one more time before the pre-orders open, and maybe have some games announcements or show some things off that would entice people to want to go pre-order for the actual release of the PS5 Pro on November 7th, 2024. So we will see. Maybe a state of play in the upcoming week, and I definitely love when the showcases happen for any of these big companies. They're very fun to listen to and get some information from. But the other bit I want to tell you about is PS5. The PlayStation 5 has added a welcome hub. So it's a new personalized space with customizable widgets and backgrounds in your PS5 home screen. A Welcome Hub is a reimagined version of the Explore tab, which was previously only available in the US. It rolls out globally over the next few weeks. So when this was first announced, I hadn't got the upgrade yet, and I have in the recent few days I've gotten it, and I do think it's pretty cool. So it's a nice little section. You can actually put your own background, which is different from the normal PS5 user interface, so it allows you to customize this section of it, which is nice. It's kind of more of just like your home screen a little bit. So I don't think it's a crucial thing, but I think it's a nice feature. I wish the UI in general had some more features for customization, so this is one step in the right direction there. So it might be the best we get, so we have to take advantage of it while we can. So I think I put a cool screenshot of Tifa on the background of mine. I'm trying to think what else. I think I used there's like 3 different presets, and I think I picked the standard one that was already set to it. I can't remember what it was called, but it shows your trophies. It shows your batteries on your controller. It shows your storage being full. Like it's some pretty useful information, and it's cool to have a screenshot as a background and just a nice little touch of some unique flavor on your PlayStation 5 home screen. So that is going to wrap up the PlayStation block of news for this show. We're going to get into some third-party stuff going on, or just some other random announcements. So Battlefield, the franchise, EA has confirmed that the next Battlefield game will return to a modern setting. So just a little bit of Battlefield news there. A franchise that has, I don't know, I guess been on a little bit of a decline, maybe lost its way a little bit, needs to get back to its roots a little bit, what it's doing here. So they're also, I don't know if this has been confirmed, but they're also touting 64-player maps, traditional classes return. I think this is confirmed, because it's from them. Full production began earlier this year and back to basics approach. So seems like a smart move for Battlefield. I've had a lot of fun with Battlefield games over the years. It's just been a long time since I've been into one. So I would be down to give another look. And I think going back to some of the roots there and just getting back to the large scale battles, cool vehicles, the bullet trajectory stuff is really cool in those games. You have to really account for wind and movement and things like that. So that's pretty fun. Some of the destructibility was some of the best stuff in Battlefield. I think they should lean heavily into the destructibility, even if it has to be on a smaller scale of what you're doing with your maps or your areas. I think it's a really great approach and something that made it very, very different and cool, and something that could definitely get me excited to want to play one of those again. So Battlefield, I don't know, but there's no no name, no title, no release date, no release window, but they have just confirmed that the next game is going seemingly in the right direction. So very nice for Battlefield. All right, Mortal Kombat 1. What's going on with Mortal Kombat 1? It's a game that released on September 19th, 2023, so just over a year ago. In that game, it was starting a new era of the iconic franchise where you could discover a reborn universe created by the fire god Liu Kang. In this game, Mortal Kombat 1 has a new expansion coming. So that expansion is in a couple days on September 24th, the same day as that rumored Sony State of Play, and this is called the Chaos Reigns expansion. So it comes out September 24th, $49.99 US. Mortal Kombat 1 base game right now is $49.99 US too. I think I've seen some physical copies on sale at different outlets. So maybe check that out if you're into wanting to purchase the base game. And digitally though, there's a Chaos Reigns collection, and it includes all of these things. I guess the base game and the upgrade for Chaos Reigns for $89.99 or $90 US if you want to buy the digital package. And a new reign of chaos unfolds in Liu Kang's era. This pack includes the upcoming story expansion plus Combat Pack 2. So I think the Mortal Kombat 1 people who have purchased this have already gotten Noob Saibot, Cyrax, and Sector. And I think Ghostface, T-1000 Terminator, and Conan the Barbarian are the new characters coming for this particular moment in the expansion. So some new stuff going on there with Mortal Kombat. If you were playing that game and already purchased this pack, it seems like the new content is going to open up for you on the 24th. Or if you'd like to purchase it all together, I think this is probably a great time to get into the Mortal Kombat. And Mortal Kombat is one of my favorite franchises. I didn't play this particular version, and I've thought about it more recently. And it's kind of just a little bit more on my radar here. I love the characters and the fighting and all that kind of stuff. Just super fun, super over the top, and very iconic, as one of those things say, new era of the iconic franchise. So Mortal Kombat 1 has the Chaos Reign expansion coming out on September 24th. All right, some Star Wars Jedi news. So the game's developed by Respawn. They are saying that they're going to develop the final game in the Star Wars Jedi Trilogy. So I guess they're probably already doing this. But this was an update from EA to let us know that it's going to be the final chapter in this trilogy from Respawn. It's going to be the final chapter in the Cal Kestis story. One tidbit is the director of the first two games has left the studio, so it's going to be under some new direction for the third game, the final game of the trilogy. And Jedi Fallen Order was the first one. Jedi Survivor was the second, 2019, 2023. Those have been very popular, very successful games. And Jedi Survivor has just recently come to PS4 and Xbox One September 17th, 2024. So that game's came out earlier in the year. And it was a little bit longer to get the past-gen releases, I guess, available for proper consumption. So they've finally put those out. They've gone back a gen, which I think is very nice. And they're selling that game, I believe it's $49.99, so I think it's a little bit cheaper than you had to pay for the original one. They're saying the tech it ran on was too far ahead at the time of the initial release. So just a couple tidbits of Star Wars Jedi information. Third game seems like it's going to be the final of this chapter, and you can go play Jedi Survivor, the most recent release. The second game in this, the second game that's been released. There's a third one coming out in the trilogy at some point, but the second one right now is available on PS4 and Xbox One. So if you have not made the jump to new gen, you can still play this game. And I think that is a great point. And I think that is probably good video game advice. That unless you just have all the money in the world, or just really, really like technology and graphics and new things, there's not much reason these days to upgrade to the current gen consoles. So I think that's a good thing to be noted with the upcoming PS5 Pro. And this is a little bit of a talk to myself too here, because I am interested in some of these new things. And if I didn't hit the lottery, I'd be buying a PS5 Pro. But I think the upgrades of some of these stuff are becoming pretty minimal at this point, pretty immaterial. It's becoming more cell phone-like with these consoles where, I'm not someone that needs a brand new cell phone all the time either. And I think there's a large swath of consumers that are that way, but I think it's kind of happening in the video game world. So if you just have some patience, you can have some of these games get, this game's Jedi Survivor. It sold so well, they're going to still put it on the old consoles, try to make some more money off of it. So, that could be three generations. Well, I guess 1.5 generations back with a half step in there with the PS5 Pro at this point, and they're still being supported. So that's the case across the board. You have Nintendo Switch out here still running great games and all sorts of stuff. So there's many options in the video game world. Is that a little bit of a, whatever that's called, a rant or whatever I just went on there about video games. But what else is going on in the video game world? So that's all the Star Wars Jedi news. There's been 2 releases I just want to remind you about. The first one I want to tell you about, because I don't think I've talked about this on the show yet, is a game called Plucky, Squire. It released September 17th, 2024 for Nintendo Switch, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, GeForce Now, and Microsoft Windows. It is $29.99 US, not a full price game, which is nice. So that's a good option in there. Developer is All Possible Futures. And the back of the box talk on this one is go off the page and into the adventure. The Plucky Squire follows the magical adventure of Jot and his friends, storybook characters who discover a 3-dimensional world outside the pages of their book. Jump between 2D and 3D worlds in this charming action adventure, solving puzzles, boxing badgers, flying with a jetpack, and enjoying many more delightful and surprising mini challenges as you become the hero of a living storybook. So I've heard some positive things about this on podcasts and reviews and things like that. I've heard some positive, some lukewarm. I don't think I've heard anything really too bad. And maybe just a few really people liking this. So I think that's kind of like the skew of how this one's going. Logan Plant gave this 7 out of 10 at IGN, and people were apparently rioting or getting mad at him. I think he was on Nintendo Voice. He's a guest on Nintendo Voice Chat, or a host, and he also does reviews on IGN. So he brought up that his review was getting him some flack on the Nintendo Voice Chat. So I don't know. It seems like, in my mind, from not playing it, it seems like a 7 out of 10. But that is just complete me talking out of my what. But Plucky Squire is out right now. I've heard some comparisons to Zelda, a little bit of more simplified Zelda and just a different kind of style with some other trappings going on. I think that's probably a good comparison and probably pretty indicative of some quality there. And Plucky Squire is out right now if you're interested in that, and go check it out. It's out on many platforms. Another game that has been released I just want to remind people of and tell you about some of the reception I've been seeing is the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. That's released on September 19th, 2024. I've talked about it for a few weeks now, being very interested in it, and it just seems like everybody I've seen talk about it and play it has been enjoying it and saying really positive things about it. I watched MinMax talk about it. I watched Nextlander, watched Rachel K streaming some of this, and all been having a great time. It seems like this game has really fun gameplay. It seems like it has some good humor. It seems like it has some good nostalgia stuff going on in it. It just seems very unique. So I think it's doing a lot of great things. I think in comparison to the old version, I think the old version, some people have been saying the voice acting's better. And the new version, I think people are saying the save states are better. It makes it more accessible. And what else have been people saying about it? Yeah, a little bit of quality of life improvements and making this version a little bit easier is what they said. Seems like maybe you'll level up a little bit quicker at the beginning of the game. Save points seem to be a huge perk. And they're saying Frank West reads a little bit differently now with the new voice acting, but he's still enjoyable. So I haven't really heard anything too negative about this new version. There is the cost analysis you have to do here, like with video games these days. You can buy this original version for, I believe it's $9.99 right now. So $10 for the original version of this game. You can buy it digitally, or this game's cost $50 right now for an upgraded version. And I think it was Jacob Geller on the MinMax show said they were talking about, is it worth it to upgrade? And he was saying the first time you play the original and you lose 45 minutes of progress after dying to a psycho not being prepared, one of the psychopath battles, that you'll be mad you didn't buy the new version. I feel like that's a little bit of the sentiment across the board, that It is more expensive, but it does seem like they've done some good things here, and it seems like a great game still. So I don't know. That one's it seems a little bit more argument there skewed to spending the money. Is my take on it, but it seems very cool. I think MinMax brought up the conversation: are people just more accustomed to roguelikes now? So I don't know if I would ever consider this game a roguelike. You know, I have some history with this game, but didn't play. This was just more of like it was just kind of like a phenomenon back in the day. Like this was just a really big thing. Like you were hearing about it, talking about it, playing a little bit of it if you can. Maybe you have a friend that you watch play it somewhere. Just a really cool thing, and probably something I should purchase after talking about it week after week. And I think I'm on that side of the train. So Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. Just want to remind people that it's out right now. It seems very cool. So that is going to wrap up the mid section of the show. That's all the video game news and information I had for you. So we had the Nintendo block of the news. We had Nintendo Switch 2 rumors. We had Nintendo Sue's Palworld. We had Splatoon 3 news. We had Nintendo Switch Online news. We have The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom coming out in the upcoming week, September 26th. And then we got into the PlayStation section. We talked about the alleged Horizon Zero Dawn remaster, the alleged Days Gone remaster. We talked about the alleged Sony State of Play. We talked about the PS5 adding the Welcome Hub, which is not alleged, that it actually happened. And we got into some other video game news like Battlefield, Mortal Kombat 1, Star Wars Jedi, Plucky Squire, and Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. So thank you for listening to all that video game news. Hopefully you found some of that information useful. And I'll be back next week to tell you all the other video game news and happenings and releases and information that you need to know. So you don't want to miss it. So we're going to take one final break here. We're going to hear some lovely break music, and we're going to come back for the miscellaneous talk section of the show after this. Welcome back to the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 95, the miscellaneous talk section, where I want to get into the worldwide world of sports as I always do. Mentioned in the intro that we have some great sports going on today in my world. I have the Braves playing at 1 o'clock today and the Panthers playing at 4 o'clock today. I want to tell you about what's going on with the Carolina Panthers. So I actually got to go to the game last week. So the Panthers had the home opener versus the Chargers. It was a fun game. They got their what's handed to them. They lost 26-3. It was really rough, but it was fun to go to the game. Some highlights were Justin Herbert was really impressive, and so was J.K. Dobbins. He did a flip into the end zone. He was really, really balling. Bryce was not good. He was 18 for 26 for 84 yards, 1 interception, 2 sacks for 15 yards. And after the game, it gets announced that Bryce is getting benched. So I don't know if I saw the last game of Bryce Young as a Panther. I don't think I have. But, a whole week, the talk is gone. After that night of that game, Canales said that Bryce is our quarterback. And the next day he comes out and says, hey, we're switching to Andy Dalton. And it really went across the sports world as some crazy news. So my overall thought is, I don't think Bryce has been doing good, but I don't think the organization has been good around him either. I think switching after 2 games is a little bit crazy, but if he is really that rattled, I think I've a little bit been sold if they're going to have Andy Dalton play a few games, see if he can. There's no guarantee he's going to stay healthy or be good, but maybe he can come in, just give Bryce Young a little bit of a breather. This is kind of all my crowdsourced information of opinions I've heard and kind of collected and decided on my own. But they've said that maybe Bryce does need to sit for a bit, and that he's probably never sat anywhere in any time in his career, and this could be a time for him to step back, just get a step back and get his bearings. That he seems like he has lost his confidence a little bit. The game's a little bit overwhelming him, and maybe this is not a end for him, because that would be, I think that was the part that was tripping me out. That are they really just like moving on from him this early? I don't think he's been the answer or been doing that great, but to give up on him after you've been selling him so hard to us and invested so much into him it just seemed very it just seemed wild. And I think they've gone back on that a little bit now. That ESPN, a top article on ESPN was saying the Panthers have been getting trade inquiries on Bryce Young, so other teams are trying to cash in probably on the Panthers being stupid. But I think they should keep him. And, unless Bryce comes out and really says he was trying to get out of town, which I don't think he did. They said he was upset about getting benched, but I think he would be. But in the media, he said all the right things. He's always kind of on the right page there. So I think it's just been some of the field stuff. But he's a young quarterback. I don't think the Panthers have done any great benefit to him by having a revolving door of leadership and things like that, and different play callers and all that sorts of stuff, and different weapons around him, and not even the greatest weapons around him, blah, 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 blah. but I think the Panthers want the Panthers to pick a direction and stick with it and not be so flippant with some of these things. And it's hard to get the sales pitch all off season from them. Blah, blah, blah. They're saying all these things are great. He's killed in practice. He really did great in that one series against the preseason. It's like, ultimately, who cares? No one cares. We want to see stuff on the field, but we also don't want to see these guys getting mishandled. And I think that's a little bit of what's going on here. Because I had to feel like I'm defending Bryce a little bit this week, which I haven't think Bryce has played good, so it's hard to defend him. But I can see both sides of the situation. So tough times in Pantherville. That's all I want to say. The Panthers are playing the Raiders today at 4:05. So we will see what's going on. I think the spread was around 7 points. So Raiders favored by about 7, and it went down a couple points after the Andy Dalton announcement, which I think people are crazy. I don't have any hatred or dislike for Andy Dalton, but I think he's way past his heyday. I don't think he's, he played a couple games last year. Year before, he was with the Saints and played a good bit of games. I don't think they lit the world on fire. I think he's a great veteran. I think you can say that at least at this point, and a good backup scenario or a good leader or a good someone who could be teaching. But having to put him out there as your starter seems rough. And I think there's only 2 quarterbacks on the roster. So my anticipation is, we have to be worried about Andy Dalton getting injured. He's an older guy. He hasn't been playing a lot. He's going to be getting thrown back into some action. He hasn't really been doing any live game reps. I don't think he played a lot in the preseason. So I think it's a little bit of a dangerous thing there. He's going to have some rust. He's an older guy. We've even seen Aaron Rodgers have some trouble with that. And it seems like Aaron Rodgers is back, not better than ever, but he is in a great version of himself right now. It seems like that they're really slinging the ball a little bit differently than he has in the last couple of years. So, not to write him off as an old guy, but I think just the actual facts and the certain situation and the context here is important. And throwing Andy Dalton back out there and I don't know, I guess it is the coaching staff in the office trying to get a look at the offense with someone else running it to try to maybe evaluate some of that stuff. If Andy Dalton comes in here and has the same result, then it's going to be, I think that's probably the worst case scenario of Andy Dalton to come in and do bad. I think we want him to come in and I don't know. I don't even know what the great scenario is. So I think if he comes in and does good this one game, I think it's going to be fool's gold. And we're going to have a Bryce Young problem. So I don't know. I think the Panthers are in really bad position here. I think they should maybe still be starting Bryce. I don't think they're going to be good either way. Might as well get the young guy the reps, unless this is just really the one case where he was really just hanging on by a thread and by his confidence, and it was really just going to be disastrous. But I think you do have to give these young guys time most of the time, and I think we can't put it all on Bryce's shoulders is the main thing. But we're going to see today what's going on. I've been getting great jokes from friends this week about what's going on with the Panthers, so we will see about what Andy Dalton is going to do on the field. Hold on for 1 second. Sorry for the pause there. Just been getting some good jokes thrown my way about the Andy Dalton start this week, and been having to think about that all week. It's not been fun, so I'm interested to see what's going to happen, and that's really about it. Just interested to see. Not too much hope. Don't know what's going to happen after. I think this is kind of pigeonholing them into a weird spot, but that is what's going on with the Carolina Panthers. So playing today at 4 p.m. I'll be back next week to report to you what happens with them, and you can watch yourself today for listening to this podcast in real time. So that's moving on from the football today. NBA, I just want to mention I'm a pseudo fan of the Charlotte Hornets just because I live in North Carolina now. First game of the season is at Houston, October 23rd, 2024. And then I'm a Hawks fan. That's my NBA team. First game of the season is versus Brooklyn in Atlanta that same day, October 23rd, 2024. All right, so what's going on with my other team? We talked about the Atlanta Braves for a second. They're trying to get in the playoffs. They're trying to obtain the third wild card spot, and it has been tough. So still scrapping and clawing, trying to get in there, trying to overtake the Mets, get one of these other teams to fall out. I think the Mets is the real issue. But since last week, the Braves lost on Sunday night to the Dodgers 2-9. Monday, the Braves lost 0-9 to the Dodgers. So I mentioned the schedule incorrectly last week, but that was that overflow game from the weekend onto a Monday. So that's a little bit unusual, but the Braves lost 0-9 on that against the Dodgers, and the Braves moved on to the Reds. So they lost Tuesday against the Reds 5-6, so a bad stretch right there. And then they've got a little bit back in order. The Braves won 7-1 Wednesday. They won 15-3 on Thursday against the Reds. And after that game, the Braves were 2 back from the wild card. Yeah, Mets and Diamondbacks are tied 2 games ahead of the Braves at this point. So those are the 2 teams we need to slack. And the Braves have an upcoming series with the Mets. Friday at the Marlins, the Braves lost 3-4, so bad news. Saturday at the Marlins, the Braves won 6-2, so that was last night. And then today, the Braves play at 1:40 at the Marlins. hopefully get a win, because that should be what happens. And then next week, there's no game Monday, Tuesday through Thursday in Atlanta versus the Mets. And then Friday through Sunday in Atlanta versus the Royals is the end of the season. And I can't believe it. When I was looking at that schedule, I thought there was 20-something games left. I didn't realize there was 1 week left to talk about the baseball going on, and just very, very stressful. I really want the Braves to get in. I think they can make a little bit of noise if they get in the playoffs, but I think it's been such a tumultuous run to the playoffs, through the regular season, with injuries and just everything that's happened to them. I don't know where my hope is right now. I'm a little bit more wanting to look away. I really don't want them to miss it, so it's a little bit, preparing for some heartbreak here. But I would love to see the Braves sneak in here to close out the last week of the season. They have a game against the Fish today they need to win. Should be an automatic win, and then get some wins all next week and sneak into the playoffs. That would be ideal and amazing, and have my baseball life rejuvenated for the season, because it's been a really tough season watching the Bravos. But favorite team in the universe, getting close to the end of the season, 1 week left, and they're playing today in just a couple hours. So that's everything going on in the sports world for me. Got some pretty stressful stuff going on there with the Carolina Panthers and Atlanta Braves. So basketball is looking all sitting pretty right now, just waiting on them to happen and see what's going on. I've been seeing some good Trae Young stuff, at least. Seeing him gelling with Reese Shea and some of the young guys. So some of that's been nice to see, and end on a positive sports note for you. So come back next week always to listen to some miscellaneous talk. I always get into the worldwide world of sports, at least. It's one of my favorite things to do. All right, so that's going to wrap up the entire show this week. The miscellaneous talk section, we talked about the Panthers, the Hornets, the Hawks, and the Braves, and that's wrapping up the whole show. I want to reiterate some promotional talk from the beginning. Please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast, so find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. If you'd like to support the show even further than just listening, patreon.com/DepLewisShow is available. If you'd like to subscribe monthly and get some additional benefits. Also, Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you'd like to support the show. So thank you for listening. I really enjoy doing this every week, so I appreciate you listening. Hopefully you get some enjoyment out of it too. I think just for a general show thought, just a quick general show thought, I think I have been, and I'm going to continue to lean heavily in the midsection of video game news. I'm going to make the show more about what's going on in the video game world and giving my opinions on it. A little bit of talk at the beginning about what I'm playing. I think I'm going to start stressing that a little bit less. I think I've been doing that naturally, but I think that's the plan. I think the show is going to be, I'll give you a little bit of what I'm playing and some information, but there's no way I can play all the games. No way I can complete all the games. I got to play just, the releases I'm really, really into, and I'm definitely interested in all the releases across the video game world. So I'm keeping up with it myself, and it's really, really fun to come here and tell you about it too. So hopefully that will be the main value you get out of this show, is getting some video game information week to week. And then hopefully it's just fun and enjoyable to listen to in general. And you get to hear my journey through the sports world at the end of the show each week, which some of my friends in real life enjoy going along with me so they can make fun of me. So maybe you can take that same angle as well. So just thank you for being a listener to the show. I hope you have a wonderful week out there in the world. Hope everything goes your way. Hope you have some positives. I hope you get a raise. I hope you win the lottery. I hope you get a new job. I hope you go on vacation. I hope you have some time off. I hope you eat something good. I hope you go on a date. I hope you go to a party. I hope you just have a fun week out there in the world. Hope you play some video games. Hope you watch some sports. And I hope you come back next week and listen to another episode of Dep Lewis Show, because that's where I'll be. Thank you for listening to episode 95. I'll be back next week for episode 96, and I will talk to you then.